watching closely. We know families are concerned about inflation in the stock market. That is something that the president is really aware of. And so, look, we face global challenges.
The blame game continues here, Congressman. What's your response to the White House's constant refrain that it's somebody else's fault?
You know, all I can say is, wow, watching closely. This administration has blamed everybody else, from Putin to the oil and gas companies to who knows who. I mean, the cancer that this administration is allowing to affect both America economically, affect everything that every of our partners around the world. It's tragic. And the fact that they continue to blame, why didn't they blame Trump? We never had these problems with high gas prices, inflation, police shortages, as you talk about. This is a direct result of Joe Biden and his direct non-involvement, if is the best word I know how to describe. But no, it's sad to say the least.
Congressman, to be fair, inflation is an issue in other parts of the world, but take a look at the graphic. The United States is at 8.6%, Canada is at 6.8%, Japan 2.5%, China 2.1%, Saudi Arabia 2.2%. It's clearly hitting the United States harder, and in some cases, in certain industries, consumer products, energy, much, much harder. You're on financial services. You're following this every day. What's the White House missing here?
Well, what the White House is missing, Tom, is that, you know, we're an oil and gas-driven economy. Mm-hmm. We don't have too many battery-operated trucks or planes. We're dependent on our trucks, our cars, using gas and natural resources that we have. We're the leader of the free world, and other countries are facing it. But this is a direct result of Joe Biden canceling every lease, putting regulations on the oil companies. The shortages, you can't unload ships out to sea. He's clueless on how to fix the things. And if he just, let's say he fixed one thing, which is opening up the natural resources, getting our oil from Canada and, you know, Alaska, and opening up the energy, which he just won't do because the socialist left is controlling him.
The Biden administration, and I'm glad you talked about this, they have, as part of their climate change agenda, declared war on plastic in the United States, and that means more regulations are coming, likely more costs for consumers. Administration officials were challenged by your colleague Dan Crenshaw from Texas, specifically about ocean plastic the other day. Take a listen to this.
There's pretty good studies on this that would say that in the Pacific Ocean trash, and plastic specifically, the vast majority of it, over 90%, comes from Asia, African countries. Is that not true?
I think the numbers do tend to show that sort of increase on the part of the Asian countries, but that doesn't mean that we're not contributing to part of that as well.
How much do we contribute?
I don't have the answer at the top of my head.
It's like less than 1%, isn't it?
I don't know.
Again, Congressman, we see Americans paying higher costs, and they're dealing with restrictions for something that is largely happening in Asia and Africa, with so many Americans struggling with the economy. Why doesn't the Biden administration just give this stuff a rest?
Well, the same reason they're not giving us the true answers on the facts on everything else. I remember we were in the skiff trying to get answers on the number of Americans left in Afghanistan. We couldn't get it. You know, and it's been like this the whole time he's been in office. His people that he's putting in offices of power are clueless. Now, that exchange that you saw with Congressman Crenshaw just mirrors the bigger problem that we've got. They will not give you answers. They will not give you, they know the facts, but they just don't want to put them out because they're at the top. They're being held back to do anything about it. And it's so sad.
Yeah. You know, Congressman, speaking of not getting answers, earlier this week, Senator Rand Paul and Dr. Fauci had another one of their famous back and forth at the Senate COVID hearing about royalties going to scientists at the National Institute of Health from Big Pharma. Take a listen to this.
Over $193 million was given to these 1,800 employees. Can you tell me that you have not received a royalty from any entity that you ever oversaw the distribution of money in research grants?
First of all, according to the regulations, people who receive royalties are not required to divulge them even on their financial statement, according to the Bayh-Dole Act.
Congressman, Americans are concerned about conflicts of interest when it comes to public health officials and big pharma. You're on the Oversight Committee. If Republicans take back control of the House of Representatives, is forcing this type of disclosure or preventing these types of royalties through legislation or other means something that you would commit to doing?
Exactly. You're going to have every agency under our direction, we take back control, having subpoena power and having hearings that will actually, we will not take those words that you just heard. Dr. Fauci basically admitted, yeah, he took royalties, but he's saying he abides by the letter of the law. That's not good enough. That's not inspiring confidence in the American people.